Hi, welcome to this demo of IBM Spectrum Protect Plus version 10.19. I'll be showing you how you can now back up your Kubernetes or OpenShift snapshots directly out to object storage. So in addition to our original method of copying those snapshots out to the Spectrum Protect Plus vSnap and then having the vSnap replicate them out to object storage, you now have the option of the SLA dictating that they go direct to object storage instead. We're supporting these on the IBM Cloud Object Storage, Microsoft Azure Blob Storage, AWS S3. Now you do have to have both your BAS agent client and your Spectrum Protect Plus server be at version 10.19 or above in order to support this. And you'll see as we set this up that the backups will be encrypted as they're sent out to Object Store, and the encryption password is going to be stored as an attribute of your SLA policy inside of your Spectrum Protect Plus server. Now, Spectrum Protect Plus server will tell the Spectrum Protect Plus BAS agent when it's time to expire those backups off of object storage, and then the BAS agent will expire them off. And this is all being utilized as part of our Restic tool, which is underneath the cover of the Spectrum Protect Plus BAS agent. I'll also show you in this video how to set up the different target locations, and then when you're doing the restores, how to select the cloud service backup as your source. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the demo. So from the dashboard, the first you're going to want to do is set up the cloud storage. And so to do this, you're going to go into System Configurations and then into Storage. We're going to choose the Cloud Storage option. And now you can either add new cloud storage or edit an existing cloud storage definition that you had from previous versions. And we'll do that first. We'll go ahead and choose our Azure Blob demo, and we're going to edit that. We're going to leave the credentials the same. And the area that we're most interested in is if you click on the Get Buckets. First, choose your endpoint. We'll choose the Microsoft Azure Global. What's new for the direct backup to object storage is this backup storage bucket. And you will need a dedicated bucket for both your direct backup storage or for your additional copies that might be sent from the vSnap, either as a standard object storage backup or as an archive object storage. So from the backup storage bucket, this is going to be the buckets that are specific for the direct backup from the Kubernetes or OpenShift snapshot directly out to object storage. We're going to choose that Demo 1 bucket. And then for the standard object storage bucket and the archive object storage bucket, we need to choose a different bucket for each of those. You can go ahead and click the Review tab and then click Save. If you were adding a new cloud storage entry, then you would click on the Add Cloud Storage. Here you'll see the options that are available for the cloud storage types. You can choose one of those, and then you can enter your specific credentials for those specific cloud storage connections. Now that we've set up the cloud storage, the next step is to define the SLA. So go back into Manage Protection and Policy Overview. In this case, we're going to add an SLA policy. So click on Add SLA Policy. We're going to call it Demo 1. We're going to choose the Kubernetes OpenShift workload. Underneath the backup policy, you'll see the new section Backup Storage, which is the section which will dictate if you want to send the snapshot backups direct to S3 object storage. For the target storage type, click on Object Storage. And then for the target, we'll select from the drop-down one of the storages that we just added or edited. So in our case, we'll choose AWS S3 demo. Next, the user must provide a backup encryption passphrase. So first you're going to enter an encryption passphrase name, and then you're going to enter the actual backup encryption password phrase. These are going to be protected when you back up your SPP server catalog. And obviously, in order to do a restore of data that's backed up to this object storage with this encryption, you're going to have your Spectrum Protect Plus server up and running. So the encryption for this backup to the S3 object storage is being done by Spectrum Protect Plus. It's using the encryption capability built into Rustic, which is included in our software. Now, one thing to note, if you did want multiple copies out on object storage, then you would want to utilize the original method of backing up your snapshot to vSnap and then having vSnap replicate that out to S3 object storage. Alternatively, you could create multiple SLAs to create snapshots and back those directly up to different object storage, but that would create multiple snapshots in the process. Let's go ahead and save this new SLA that backs up the snapshots direct to object storage. So click Save, then click OK. Now we need to go into Manage Protection, Containers, Kubernetes. We need to choose, in our case, the CBA namespace, and then some of the resources that sit underneath that. And we want to add that to our new Demo 1 policies. And we will add that to our new policy. Now, when you do the backups, you first have to create a snapshot. So we're going to go ahead and create an on-demand snapshot. We're not going to wait for the schedule to run. So click Actions, Start, choose Snapshot. Go ahead and click OK. And now let's go look at the jobs and operations. And underneath running jobs, you'll see that this is creating a snapshot. Okay, once that snapshot creation is finished, so go back into Manage Protection, Containers, Kubernetes, and once again, let's choose the SLA policy, and let's choose Actions Start, but this time let's choose to back up to object storage. So this is going to directly back up that snapshot to object storage. It is not going through the Spectrum Protect Plus vSnap. If you go back to jobs, you'll see that this backup is running. Okay, it looks like that backup direct to object storage has finished. If we check job history, we can see it completed successfully. And of course, you can look at the different messages if you choose. So now we're going to go ahead and do a restore. So in order to do this, go into Manage Protection, Container, Kubernetes, and then click Create Job and choose Restore. First, drill down until you find the backup we're looking for. So that was the Florida Production 4 resources. Go ahead and click on plus. That adds it to the Restore section. Then click on Next. We're going to restore from Copy. We're going to choose On Demand. Now, if there were versions stored on multiple targets, we would have to choose Object Store Backups after we chose On Demand. But because we only have one copy out there, it automatically knows that the copy out on Object Store is our only copy, so it selects it for us. So now we're going to go ahead and click Next, and we'll just take all the defaults on this restore. So continue clicking Next until you get to the review, then click Submit, and then click OK. If you go back into Jobs, you'll see that we do have that restore running. Remember, this is restoring from the object storage that we backed up the Kubernetes or OpenShift snapshot directly from. Okay, once that job is complete, we can look at the job history and we'll see that it's successfully restored. Once you set up the object storage, you do not need to manually manage it. However, if you want to take a look at what Spectrum Protect Plus is writing out to it, you can use some of the native tools to look into it. So here, for instance, if we look under the SPP server dev, you'll see the Demo 1, Demo 2, Demo 3, and other buckets that we created out there. And remember, we used that Demo 1, Demo 2, Demo 3 bucket as part of our object storage definition. So if we drill down into Demo 1, you'll see that it was used to back up our object storage into, and you'll see a folder that's associated with each of the SLAs. So in our case, we only have one SLA out there, so there's only one folder. But if you drill into that folder, you will see an entry for each of the snapshot backups that we've taken. So in our case, we only have one snapshot backup inside of this demo 1 bucket. We can switch over to another bucket, and here's an example of multiple backups sitting underneath this bucket. So remember, Spectrum Protect Plus will take care of expiring these objects out of the object storage, but if you were interested in what it looks like, here it is. Okay, so in summary, I have just showed you the new capability to back up Kubernetes or OpenShift snapshots directly to object storage and to be able to restore from those backups. Thank you very much.